I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is.
All right, y'all know what to do. Shout out to the gang. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully y'all can hear me on this Friday. Let me see. Oh, looks like my sound might not be working. Hold on a second. Let me see if we good. We should be good up in here. There we go. Y'all drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. There we go. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully y'all are doing well. Excited for another weekend. Making it through the week. Beginning of the year. Oh, we're looking all crispy and clean on the screen too. Here we go. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats at ClassEbeats.com. Today, we've got some great stories for you. We got a lot going on going into this next week, and really the next couple weeks. Things are going to start picking up when it comes to the news that's coming out, whether that be the YSL trial, Julio Foolio, Jay-Z. We're going to talk about all of it today. But before we get into it, let me say what's up to the people, man. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me see how y'all are feeling. Of course, we have my awesome, amazing Amy is in here this morning. Thank you, Amy, for being here. Never missing a beat. I appreciate you. Les Cleaver's in the building. We got Olivia Rose up in here. Rice Street, my dog. Shout out to Rice Street. And then we got A Fitz, Nosy Rosie, Lady E. Alejandra is in the building as well. Valencia, good to see you. Tammy, the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell says happy Friday. Y'all give it up for the amazing attorneys on our channel, and especially the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell. Gerald's in here. Fatima, Walter Waller, good to see you. Beautiful Butterfly. We've got Just Lee, Top Shelf Mexicans in here this morning. Okay, good to see you. Derek and Sam Evans, Missy Q, Nana Banana, LaRonda's in here. All right, we've got Tanya, Miss 86 is in the building. We've got Mo Mac back at it. Mr. Call is in the building. Good to see you. And I think I got most of y'all so far. Shout out to Sue, Rachel, I see you. Mal Beauty is in here as well. Mike Pina. And my guy, John, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. And thank you for your service as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all know I do not ask for much on this show, but The one thing I do ask is that y'all like the video. Not only is it free, not only does it help the channel continue to grow, but it lets the algorithm know wherever you're watching that you guys are enjoying the show, and it shares the video with more people. So we've got some great stories we're going to get into today. If y'all could take a second, like the video, I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Minnie Perkins is up in here too. Syndicated News is still here, although we are not talking about Bill Cosby. Shout out to Syndicated News. Always good to see y'all over here. I have something that's unrelated. We're not really going to spend a lot of time on it on the show today, but y'all may have heard, speaking of the YSL trial, Young Thug just dropped his first official verse on a track on a song that is on Lil Baby's new album that just came out last night. I'm about, let me see. I'm about 11 songs in. So I've got 4 songs left on the album, and so far, great work, man. I think the features carried a lot on this album, but I think Lil Baby did a great job. If you want to know which song Thug is featured on, he's featured on Dumb, Dumb, and Dumber. Future's on there as well as Lil Baby. So dope track, dope album so far too. So shout out to Lil Baby. That's nice. I'm rocking with this so far. So I've got 4 songs left. I've got Free Promo, Outfit with 21 Savage. That's a controversial song because apparently he takes shots at Drake or shots at Kendrick Lamar. We got Drugs Talking and Streets Colder. Okay, so I'll be interested to see how those sound. But yeah, I was rocking with the album so far. If y'all have heard the album or if you listen to it, let me know what you think so far. No pudding pops today. No, we're not doing that. Oh man, and shout out to everybody else that's in here too. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news because we have a lot to cover today. So if y'all are ready, we'll go ahead and get into it. Now, as y'all most recently saw, when it comes to Jay-Z and Alex Spiro, Judge Torres, who is presiding over the legal proceedings when it comes to this lawsuit that was filed against Jay-Z, she recently took some shots at Alex Spiro and Jay-Z, basically saying, hey, listen, guys, just because you're a celebrity, just because you have this high paid lawyer doesn't mean that we can change the justice system and run these proceedings the way that you want to. So we've got to follow the rules. Now we have this attorney here that is going to give his thoughts on the strategy that's being taken by Jay-Z and by Alex Spiro and the way they're moving, what's most likely going to be the outcome. Then later on in the live stream, and y'all will see in another video, we're going to talk about some recent updates that came out from Judge Torres when she actually granted something to Jay-Z and Alex Spiro. But we'll get into it here. Y'all make sure you like the video on your way in. Let's go.
Okay, well, when you have like a billionaire client, which unfortunately I haven't had one, but I can imagine, I mean, I've had wealthy clients, but when you have a client like him, I'm sure they're very demanding, and whatever they want, like he's spinning his wheels. So the lawsuits against against the lawyer that filed, you know, it's like a law firm all of a sudden is taking on this role, and they're just billing and filing and doing all of these things. In my opinion, it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? If Jay-Z was my client, I would be like, let's deal with this case, and whatever you want to do regarding the ethics or of the attorney and all that, let's hold off, because when you do it, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't look good, you know, publicly. When you attack.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing about being a lawyer too. I can imagine. I'm sure Kel Bell will agree to this. When you have a client, the hard thing is that you as a lawyer, you have all the legal knowledge, right? But if your client is wanting to go in a different direction, in some instances, you have to kind of listen to them. So Jay-Z, as y'all heard from a lot of the statements he put out, he didn't want to back down, right? And I'm sure he was telling Alex, no, I'm not waiting. We're going after this guy. He's lying. This is not true. We need to do it, and we need to do it now. And Alex is like, all right, I'm going to do whatever you say. And it was interesting to see that dynamic because of how quickly that Alex Spiro retracted one of his memos that he submitted to the court after Judge Torres came out and said, y'all, we can't handle things this way. So I don't want to put the blame fully on Jay-Z, but it seems like there's a little bit of a back and forth going on between Jay-Z and his attorney.
The lawyers. And as a matter of fact, that last 5-page order that Judge Torres wrote pretty much roasted Jay-Z's counsel for,
that's true.
You know, asking for relief that's not going to be afforded to them, or asking like to speed things up, because at the end of the day, the only reason you want to speed things up is because your client's Jay-Z, and that's not a reason to tell a judge that you want an expedited hearing, or and I think the judge made it clear in her ruling. And I think the judge also is trying to like pump the brakes, like telling them, pump the brakes on the filings, pump the brakes on what you're doing, because she already envisions that moving forward it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, and Kel Bell even said in the chat, she says, telling a client the legal truth and saying no is the hardest part of the job. And can y'all imagine a man whose time is so valuable? When you look at people who are very wealthy, the most thing they valuable is their time, and you all should too. But someone who is this wealthy and doesn't want to have to deal with this, and then you add his image on top of it, he's going to be telling you like it is. And he's saying, man, I pay you, Kel Bell, I pay you this much money to get stuff done. We need to get it done. I don't care how it goes. I don't care how you do it. Make it happen. And I'm sure that's how Jay-Z's used to moving. Man, shout out to Kel Bell.
Yeah, that judge did not mince any type of words in that ruling. And Jay-Z has been fighting for weeks to get his name off that lawsuit and try to get that suit tossed out altogether. But I want to ask your thoughts on the prior ruling where a judge ruled that this Jane Doe can remain anonymous, at least for now. Were you surprised by that ruling, and how difficult could it be to defend a client in a civil lawsuit where the accuser is anonymous?
Well, I think when you read the order, the judge left wiggle room, because she said right now at this stage in the litigation she can remain anonymous, but she even put language on there that said once the discovery process gets going, there may be a point where we're going to have to revisit this.
Yeah, we talked about that.
As far as I know, we have the confrontation clause. You're able to confront your accusers, and you I can't envision that they're going to be able to move forward from beginning to end and never have her come forward at some point in the litigation. I don't think that they'll be able to successfully pursue their claims with her as a plaintiff if they conceal her identity. Now, I understand that she went forward on NBC, right? And she gave like a statement on NBC, and I heard it, or at least parts of it, and it didn't look good for her. Like, I can't imagine her lawyer agreed for her to do that, because what came out in there in the small portions that I saw was her dad saying that he doesn't remember, her having autism, and all these problems with her, sanity or mental health issues. That's just chipping down at her. And I understand that maybe part of their argument is going to be like, yeah, she's suffering from these issues because of the attack, but something like autism, it doesn't come because you were traumatized. That's something that, you're born with. And so the argument is going to be like, okay, so this person that's remembering this from the time that they were 13 years old is someone that was suffering from autism. So that may call into question her ability to tell a lie from the truth, her ability to, whether or not she's making things up. I understand also in that interview that came forward that the person that she alleges drove her the 4 hours to the VMAs, I believe it is, right? Or the music award, is no longer alive. So when I saw it, I can't imagine that her attorney, agreed to it. And if he did, I think it was a huge mistake, because she's already being picked apart for what she said in there.
Yeah, and I'm so glad he said that, because we had so many conversations on this channel about that. Why in the world did she do this interview? It made no sense. And even in several of yesterday's video, we had the conversation with someone in this state who seemingly has no one, right? Her father's not backing her up. One of her closer friends is no longer with us. Why would she not take the advice of her attorney? I don't know. Maybe she was in a vulnerable state, just wanted to get her story out there. But that interview, if y'all haven't watched it, go back and watch the video where we reviewed it. It was so bad. It made her look bad. She even had quotes at the end saying, oh, well, maybe I misremembered, but it could be because of the trauma. Well, if that's the case, then your entire story isn't credible. And then you even had Tony Busby afterwards backtracking and saying, okay, well, hey, it's not my fault. The people who brought her to us, the ones who referred her to us, they did the vetting. We didn't really vet out the entire story. Maybe it was 2003. Maybe it was 1993. We're not sure about the times, but I fully stand behind my client. I mean,
Stop the cap.
this, there's no way. I'm not going to say there's no way, but it seems like Tony didn't want her to do this. If he did, I mean, he's playing some next level chess, because I don't see why you would ask your client to do that.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to the next question that I have for you. You know, with these kind of inconsistencies that came out in this story by this NBC interview, what do you make of that now that Tony Busby has kind of been defending his client, one still, but also,
Well,
you know, still backing her story by saying another law firm recommended her to us. They had already previously vetted the story. She was willing to take a polygraph. So what do you make of kind of those stark differences between the inconsistencies, but then you still have Tony Busby, who is her attorney, still backing her and her claims and allegations?
Well, listen, he's already like, you know, he's on top of the horse already. So for him to back out completely just because she said a couple of inconsistent statements, I mean, he took the case knowing whatever issues regarding her mental health she had. And I'm sure
Allegedly.
that he did vet the case, because you know that you're going to get a tsunami when you file this. So this is not a regular lawsuit that you file even against another rich person or another billionaire. This is one of the most famous people on earth, really. So when you file this lawsuit, you better vet it, because you know you're going to get attacked. Now, the way that he's getting attacked, I've never seen this before. This is like the first time I've seen somebody get so attacked, you know, when they file a lawsuit. But
Smart.
I'm pretty sure that someone like him must have, you know, dotted his I's and crossed his T's before, you know, accepting something like this.
Yeah, and I want to go back to
Yeah, and I don't know what Tony Busby was thinking with this one. Probably that Jay-Z was just going to write a check and let this be over. But Jay-Z made it very clear from the beginning that that wasn't going to happen. And I'm sure Tony Busby didn't see all of this coming, because he's on defense right now. And it definitely looks like Jay-Z and Alex Spiro are on the offense. We're going to get into that in a segment a little bit later. But y'all let me know what you think about this. Who's on the winning side? And if this goes to trial, do y'all think she's going to make it through this trial? The at the time 13-year-old. Not looking good. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Good morning to everybody who just stopped by too. Appreciate y'all being here. We've got over 1,100 of you in the building. Thank y'all for being here. If you could, like the video, likes are free, and it really does help the channel out. We also have a couple super chats as well. Shout out to my guy, Top Shelf Mexican, in the building this morning with the 20 bomb. He said, this show is a blessing, great content, news, and tune in tonight. If you're an artist, it will change your life. Real talk. Thank you, Top Shelf Mexican, one of the amazing moderators and amazing artists in our community too. We've got Elaine in the building. Elaine Hafsalah is in here with the 10 bomb as well. Thank you, Elaine. Just showing some love. I appreciate you. And I will be reading super chats throughout the show too. I appreciate y'all showing love and support. And good morning to everyone who's just stopping by. My guy, Anton Bishop, is in the building. Good to see you. We've got Antoinette Smith is in here. I think I said what's up to Rachel. Angela Davis is in here as well. Ducky Dexter's in here. Good morning. John C. Good morning as well. And I think I got everybody. But yeah, it was interesting what Kel Bell said about telling a client the legal truth and saying no is the hardest part of the job. I mean, can you imagine having to go up there? And let's use Monktunk, for example, right? Let's say we use Derek Wright as an example. Monktunk's terrible lawyer. Can you imagine if he went in there and he did his due diligence? He said, Monktunk, I think you should just chill for a couple months. I know it's tough and I know you got your mother and all this. Just hold on. Or I should say, this isn't a great plea deal. Maybe we should try and renegotiate, give it a little bit of time for the trial. And he kept working on him. Monktunk said, nope, I'm not doing it. I want to go through with this one. Sign. What do you get? 40 years? 40 years of probation. Then Monktunk gets up on the stand. And Derek Wright's like, okay, Monktunk, listen, here's what I want you to do. I know you don't like it. I know you're not feeling it. But I want you to remember when you get on the stand, all these factual acknowledgments you signed to and you initialed in your plea deal, when you get up on the stand, you have to make sure that you acknowledge these. Now, if you want to give some more context, if you want to say, yes, I agree to that, but, you know, it really wasn't the case when it came to the shooting. I knew about it, but I didn't know it. Fine, give some more details or context. But these factual acknowledgments, you have to do these. And then your client gets up there. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And you're going to back me up. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to tell them everything in this plea deal was a lie. It happens. And I'm sure Kel Bell will tell you. These attorneys talk to these clients and they coach them and they tell them certain things and they get on the stand or they go and do an interview with NBC and they're just stuck here like, we went through this. We went over this. This is not what we discuss. When you get on the stand, say what you need to say. You get to go home. Now, Montung's looking like a lost puppy when they put the handcuffs on him because he violated his plea deal. Oh, man. But we know that's not the case, right? Because Derek Wright, let's just be real. When it comes to his representation of Montung, absolute garbage. But I'm sure Kel Bell will have tons of stories where that happens. Shout out to anonymous person in here. Good to see you. Right Street's in the building as well. Said you were cooked when the lawyer didn't read everything in the plea.
What? These niggas lacking.
Is that really a lawyer? You might as well have put it in ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, should I take this plea deal? God dang. I cannot believe that I still, I'm still so sad about everything that went down with Montung, man. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, Montung is, I'm sure there's been cases where someone like a Montung has had an amazing attorney and the attorney has told them what they're looking at, told them about everything that was in either a plea or what they were looking at going into trial. And then their client just said, no, I'm going to do whatever I want to. That's got to be the most frustrating thing as an attorney. I don't know if I could handle it. Anyway, let's get into our next topic because we do have some more updates when it comes to this Jay-Z lawsuit. So let me go ahead and update this real quick. Again, if y'all haven't yet liked the video, thank you to all 1,300 of y'all, almost 1,400 of you who are in the building. Appreciate y'all being here, man. Y'all could be anywhere on this Friday morning, just hanging out at the water cooler. And instead, you're over here with us. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we have some news when it comes to the fight that Jay-Z and Alex Spiro have been fighting and the war they've been raging when it comes to everything that's going on with Tony Busby and at the time 13-year-old who was allegedly assaulted in this lawsuit, right? Judge Torres now is letting everyone know and letting Jay-Z know that she's going to grant one of their motions. Which motion isn't? We're going to get into it here. Shout out to Megan Kuniff, who has been covering and updating us with documents on this trial. Make sure y'all go follow her and show her some love on X. And she has a YouTube channel as well. What does she say? She says Judge Torres has granted lawyer Alex Spiro's request to file a dismissal motion in the lawsuit that accuses Jay-Z of assaulting a 13-year-old girl in 2000. This is over the objection of the woman's lawyer, Tony Busby. The motion is due on February 6th. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, they're going to have everything done maybe today, definitely by next week. Let's see what is going on with this from Judge Torres. She says, the court has reviewed defendant Sean Carter's letter seeking leave to file a motion to dismiss the plaintiff's amended complaint and plaintiff's letter in opposition. Accordingly, Carter's request to file a motion to dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint is granted. All right, so this is a major win for Jay-Z. He's in there. So Judge Torres said, y'all can file this motion. I'm going to look at it, see what you have. And this thing might be thrown out. Oh, man. How do y'all think this is going to look for Tony Busby if this one gets thrown out? Just imagine for a second, you're one of Tony Busby's clients. And let's say you're an actual victim. Like you are legitimate. You have the story. You've got the pictures. You've got the videos. You have eyewitness testimony. And your lawyer is taking an L like this with a client that did an interview showing that and making it look like they lied, made them look bad. And now you've got a judge dismissing one of your most public, I mean, let's be real, one of his most public lawsuits so far. Man, not a great look for Tony Busby. And if you ask me my opinion, I think this is probably going to be thrown out, especially in light of everything that we've been able to see and the lack of evidence that was there. By February 6, 2025, Carter shall file his motion. By February 28, 2025, plaintiff shall file her opposition papers. And by March 14, 2025, Carter shall file his reply, if any. The clerk of court is respectfully directed to terminate the motion at number 55. So ordered, Annalisa Torres. All right. Now, we looked at this yesterday, and I want to talk about it one more time. This was where Alex Spiro previewed his arguments and his request. The judges deciding dismissal motions are to assume the facts alleged are true, says Megan Kunev. The arguments are about legal issues such as a statute of limitations. So let's go back through and look at this and see what they are saying when it comes to most of these motions, right? And as we know, Tony Busby did respond to this. Looks like he's losing the fight a little bit there. What do they say? All right, this is the email that was sent to Judge Torres by Jay-Z's representation. We write on behalf of defendant Sean Carter, pursuant to Rule 3A2 of Your Honor's individual practices in civil cases, to inform the court that Mr. Carter seeks to file a motion pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12B6 to dismiss the first amended complaint by Tony Busby, right? In accordance to Rule 3BI of Your Honor's rules, on December 19th, Mr. Carter sent a letter to the plaintiff setting forth the basis for this motion and advising that Mr. Carter would file the pre-motion letter if the plaintiff chose to stand on her FAC. All right. The plaintiff was required but failed to respond to Mr. Carter's letter within 5 business days by December 27th. Mr. Carter interprets the plaintiff's silence as confirmation that she will stand on the FAC as pled, which is why they're saying, Judge, let us move forward. And the judge says, yep, y'all can go ahead. Accordingly, Mr. Carter submits this pre-motion letter concerning his anticipated motion to dismiss, which will raise the following arguments. First off, the plaintiff cannot recover for her sole claim under the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, the GMV law, as a matter of law because the statute does not have retroactive effect. The plaintiff asserts a violation of the GMV law for conduct that purportedly occurred in September of 2000, but the GMV law was not enacted until December 19th of 2000, 3 months after the FAC claims. Boy, this is so bad. Oh man, Tony, what were you thinking, man? What else does it say? The claims the conduct occurred and cannot apply retroactively to create a cause of action unavailable to the plaintiff at the time in question. See Lewis v. some German name it looks like I can probably not pronounce. Dismissing GMV law claim related to the conduct that occurred before the GMV law was passed because the state does not provide for retroactive or immediate effectiveness, which makes sense, right? They also say contrary conclusion would violate both state and federal due process protections. And we know we do not want to do that. Second thing is, even if the GMV law had retroactive effect, it does not apply to, it does not to prevail. Plaintiff must show that the violative conduct, never seen that word before, the violative conduct was committed within New York City. Interesting. But she's saying this happened in a house in New Jersey. Oh man. All right, here we go. Committed within New York City. Bass v. the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, ENT. And also they say Beverly v. the 1115 Health Benefits Fund. All right, what do they say? Only to acts occurring within the boundaries of New York City. The FAC alleges that the violative conduct is forced assault, we'll say, but does not assert that his conduct occurred in New York City, nor could it. Dang! According to the FAC, the plaintiff was driven from Radio City Music Hall to a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway, which we know now doesn't exist, right? A drive that took 20 minutes, according to the FAC, and they show it there in paragraph 43 through 44, which we read. This is where the alleged assault took place. The FAC's description of the residence in question, however, combined with public records, confirmed that any such residence, to the extent it existed at the time, would have been located outside the territorial boundaries of New York City. Man, this... I'm sorry. I know my rule is to wait until the evidence comes out. But if we're looking at this as it sits, this whole thing is a mess. And Tony Busby messed up. Because not only does the law they're trying to file this under not apply, according to Alex Spiro, but the assault that she's suing for took place out of this jurisdiction. So even if it did happen, which I don't know, maybe this is some type of admission of guilt, y'all. We'll let the plaintiff handle that. Even if it did happen, it happened outside of New York City, so this wouldn't apply in the first place. Is basically what he's saying. This is looking bad. Third, they got a third thing. Any viable GMV law claims is time barred under New York City's Child Victims Act, or the CVA, which preempts plaintiff GMV law claim. The FAC alleges the conduct occurred 20 years ago, well outside the CVA's statute of limitations. Though the CVA was amended in 2019 to create a 2-year and 2-month revival period, the period expired on August 21st or of August of 2021. CPLR 214G, plaintiff seeks to plead around the statute of limitations issue by asserting a claim under the GMV law, which contains a longer revival period. But again, even if you were to claim it, or even if you were to able to claim it under the GMV, it doesn't apply because this took place outside of New York City. What a mess, man. What a mess. Where were we at? I lost my place here. Which contains a longer revival period. Courts in this district, however, have recognized that the CVA's revival period preempts the GMV's law, overlapping an extended one. All right, and you can see Bellino v. Tallarico in 2024. The appeals were withdrawn in 2024. As such, the plaintiff's claim expired no later than August 2021. Thank you for your honor's consideration of this request. Respectfully submitted, Quinn Emanuel and Sullivan LLP. Signed by Alex Spiro. Oh man, Jay-Z might be taking home a win. A lot of people wanted to throw him under the bus for this one, but they've got some great case law and some great points in this as well. If it happened, which we know it did it, the law that they're filing this lawsuit under, it doesn't even apply. And then there's the facts of the case, right? Which they didn't even get into here. I think they've beaten that dead horse, as they say. So it makes sense now after seeing this, why Judge Torres would say, yeah, y'all can go ahead and move forward. It'll be interesting to see what she decides on this. What do y'all think? If you were Judge Torres, what would you decide based on everything that we've seen so far? Whether that's the initial claim, the amended claim, the NBC interview, and all these memos that have come out from Jay-Z. I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Wow. This is wild, man. I think Jay-Z's about to win this one. I don't know. Y'all have to tell me. And again, thank you to everybody who's in the building. It's good to see all 1,300 of y'all in here. You said you win some, you lose some. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Rice Street said all his clients aren't going against the billionaire. That's true, but that's true. And Rice Street makes a good point, because we know, according to Tony Busby, we saw in the interview, he said, I mean, we're getting to the difficult part now, because the people who were going to write us checks, they've already written us checks. Some celebrities you would know, some people you wouldn't know. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Great example of ineffective counsel. Oh man. Tony Busby admitted too. He said, hey, maybe we didn't vet her how we should. We trusted the other attorney who referred her. Ineffective counsel indeed. Not a great look for him. Let me see what y'all are saying. And everyone Fanny has put incarcerated that they need to walk her in the courtroom with a slick ponytail. Okay, I must have missed something y'all were talking about. Thank you to Amy for reminding y'all to like the video. They about to take and her family to witness protection. Jeez. I mean, oh, this is tough. I just know Jay-Z's going to sue the shit out of them when it finally comes out that she's lying, especially if it gets to the point she has to reveal herself by then. Does it? Here's the thing, though. We can talk about the ego part of it, right? And standing 10 toes down, being from New York. Does it really help Jay-Z to attack a woman who has all these issues? I mean, these alleged issues. I don't know. It's hard to say. And if you're talking about suing Tony Busby, maybe I could see that, but what's going to come out of that? It's hard to tell at this point. We've got Gloria Smith in here with the 2-bomb. Thank you, Gloria. She says, thanks for the membership. How do we contact you? The best way to contact me would probably be on Instagram. So if you have Instagram, just DM me on Instagram if you need to contact me. Syndicated News is still stuck on the Bill Cosby thing. I just love reading his comments because I find them funny. Although Classy Beats doesn't want to talk about Cosby, those of us who experienced that era of debauchery and this era as well can tell you that this is a repeat. None of this is new. That's a fact. Think of how many things that happen we don't know about. Dr. EJ is in the building, gifted 5 memberships. Woo! Shout out to Dr. EJ. If you got a membership from him, make sure that you say thank you and show him some love. Rice Street said, I'm suing that girl. Rice Street doesn't care. He's about to throw her under the bus. It may look bad, but he has to do something. So there's a deterrent so other people won't do the same thing and accusing him of stuff that he didn't do. Oh, man. You make a good point. Are they going to make an example out of her? Because I think it's tough. Even if you think of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing, or Jonathan Majors even, right? I mean, we had all of the evidence right in front of our faces of what was going on, what was happening. Jonathan Majors lost his whole career. We won't say, I mean, that's a little dramatic, but it's done with the Marvel series. He was a super rising star. Done. Johnny Depp kicked out of Disney. And these are the people at the top. I mean, oh man. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things. Knowing me and how I am, when I get to that point, I'm just writing the check. I'm going to be serious, man. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And, if I need to have conversations with people behind closed doors, hey, I'll do it and be like, listen, y'all, this BS. I wrote a check. I just want to get it over with and move on. They needed money, clearly. Y'all see how this goes. I'm done. So, I mean, salute to Jay-Z. I don't know if he's going to try and make an example out of it, but oh, man, that's tough. Rice Street says suing and dropping a diss track. Oh man, let it fly. It is if she's lying. She's making it harder for real victims to come forward. That's the part that angers me the most, because a lot of y'all in the comments and in the chat have even been saying, yeah, I've been a victim. I've had to deal with this, and it's frustrating for people like this who lie and just try and money grab in a sense, because man, it makes us look bad. It's unfortunate. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next topic here. And again, shout out to Dr. EJ and everyone dropping the super chats. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. And oh my gosh, we're at 1,111 likes. Sheesh. Thank y'all for the likes, man. That is amazing. I appreciate every single one of y'all who took the time to like the video. We got 1,300 of y'all in here. Almost 100% of you like the video. That is insane. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next topic. Oops, I need to update this headline first, because y'all know it is almost that time. We're about to get down to the wire when it comes to the YSL trial. We are not finished yet. I know we got some of the main guys to the finish line. Yak Gotti, unfortunately, still behind bars, but he was found not guilty on all counts. SB, as you know, is out. He got to spend Christmas with the family, and he was only found guilty on possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. But we have a few more guys that have to go through trial. One of those gentlemen is Tinquarius Mender, aka Nard, aka Stunner. And what does he have going on? So we've got an update over here from Kathy Russin over at Law and Crime. She says Tinquarius Mender, aka Nard, aka Stunner, has a final plea hearing scheduled for January 13th, which is the week after next. He's the only remaining defendant that has a hearing titled that, which is interesting. Of course, we've got Christian Eppinger, aka Briss, as they call him, has a motion hearing set for that same date. So we're going to be seeing everything going on with the Christian Eppinger trial. That whole thing is a mess, as we found out. We've seen the videos. We saw what happened with Christian Eppinger. And the interesting thing about that is the state isn't even calling any witnesses. They've got the video. They're happy with that and apparently feel like it's enough. So he's fighting an uphill battle there. But when it comes to this gentleman, Tinquarius Mender, we're actually going to go back and look at the indictment and see what he's facing. And as we have seen so many plea deals given in this YSL trial, we can probably get an idea of what he's going to have to deal with. Judge Whitaker is going to be presiding over that plea hearing, and it's taking place at 2 p.m., which we know probably with Judge Whitaker is going to mean like 2:30. So let's go and get into what's going on with Tinquarius Mender. What is he looking at facing? Of course, we've got count one. Everybody was on count one. That's the RICO trial, or the RICO charge, right? And then we've got 44, 45, and 46. What is he looking at? Possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual. Oh man, we've got more shanks. Possession of a telecommunication device by an incarcerated individual. And then 46, participation in criminal street gang activity. All right, so y'all know what we got to do. We're going to go back through this indictment and see what happened and what's the story behind Tinquarius Mender. So we're going to go to 44 and see if I can find it. All right, I'm going to have to search. Y'all give me 1 second. I should have done this earlier, so I apologize. All right, first one. What happened? Defendants Marquavius Huey, who is out, Tinquarius Mender, and Jeffrey Williams, associates of YSL, conducted, here we go again, a recorded video call while Tinquarius Mender was an inmate at the Fulton County Jail. Said video call being recorded in the normal course of business, and during the call, Mender stated he needed something. Williams pointed to Huey to take care of it and flashed Mender a YSL gang sign, an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy.
Right, and so what we have ultimately is that there is no evidence, none.
Let's keep going. Overt Act 169, Lord. Defendants Marquavius Huey and Tinquarius Mender, associates of YSL, did unlawfully commit the felony offense of possession of a weapon by an inmate when, while incarcerated at Fulton County Jail, did possess an illegal weapon, to wit, a shank, as we know, beyond the guard lines in violation of Georgia law pursuant OCGA 42518, an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. And they've got a picture of the shank there. We heard about this during the trial. 170. Marquavius Huey, Tinquarius Mender, associates of YSL, did unlawfully commit the felony offense of possession of a telecommunication device by an inmate when, while incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail, did possess without authority a communication device, to wit, a cell phone, beyond the guard line in violation of Georgia law pursuant OCGA, an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Can y'all imagine it wasn't your cell phone and somebody say, here, hold this, and they just hand you the cell phone and you catch a charge while you're being held in prison? This is wild, man. Atlanta law system is terrible. I agree. 1000%. Details on count 44. What do we have? Marquavius Huey, aka Quay, Free Quay, and Tinquarius Mender, with the offense possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual for the said accused in the county of Fulton County and the state of Georgia on the 18th day of February 2022, did, without lawful authority and while being incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail, possess a weapon, to wit, a shank, contrary to the laws, the said state, and the good order and peace and dignity thereof. Yeah, well, if you say so. What else do we have? 45. Possession of a telecommunication device. Obviously, they had a phone in there. Nothing new. And then count 46. Participation in criminal street gang activity. What did he do? In the county of Fulton in the state of Georgia on the 22nd day of February 2022, did unlawfully, while associated with a criminal street gang, according to Gunna, I guess, YSL, participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of at least one of the offenses enumerated in paragraph 1. To wit, possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual and possession of a telecommunication device by an incarcerated individual. So wait a second. So what you're telling me is he had a shank and he had a phone, and that with that, they were able to give him a participation in criminal street gang activity charge. Wow.
These niggas lacking.
This law is insane. Absolutely insane. And then, of course, we also have Tinquarius Member listed here again, and that's all he's looking at. So based on that, and based on what we've seen, y'all are saying, what the hell in the chat? Based on what we've seen throughout this entire YSL trial, what type of plea could he be looking at? He had a shank, didn't actually commit any crimes. He had a cell phone. And of course, they had Marquavius Huey. He was the guy who gave him access to the phone. I guess we're going to possibly hear what happened when it comes to the final plea. This is absolutely insane. And the fact that he got a participation in criminal street gang activity charge because he asked somebody for a phone is wild to me. I hope maybe he gets time served and just a little bit of probation. I don't know from a legal standpoint what all these carry, and I could look it up. Let me take a second and look this up. But I want to know what y'all think about this while I look it up. What type of plea deal do you think Tinquarius Mender is going to get? 44, 45, and 46. A shank, a cell phone, and that all adds up to Criminal street gang activity. It's total BS. Let me know what y'all think. Let me see if I could find what is going on, man. And who's talking about us voting? Anton Bishop, you voters in ATL. Martin Luther King is disappointed in your voting skills. That's why we got to keep talking about it. This is crazy. So because he got hit with the RICO charge, right? Then, while he was in jail, he had a shank and a cell phone. And now he's being indicted in this RICO. This just sounds like a bonus charge for real. Like, what? Christine says time served. This whole RICO was garbage. Can y'all believe this? This is one of the wildest ones I think I've seen. Time served. I hope he gets time served. Are those the only charges he has? This is the indictment right here. Who asked that? Was it Rachel? He got the RICO charge. And then he got 44, 45, and 46. And that's it. So he talked to Young Thug and Marquavius Huey on the phone. It's like, hey, I need something. Young Thug said, talk to him. He talks to Marquavius Huey. Then he ends up getting a shank and a cell phone. Criminal street gang activity. Time served, 10 years probation. RICO was never found. I personally wouldn't take the charge. The way it works at Wright Street, both phone and shank could have been planted. That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine if you're in there just waiting for a court date? Maybe you're going to be in there 2-3 days in the weekend. The guard comes in there. Open up cell 24. They open up cell 24. You're sitting there. They search your bed and they find a shank in your bed. You're done. Oh man, I just knocked my cup over. Time served, 15 years probation. Oh my God. For a shank and a cell phone? This is the state's legal way of railroading these boys. I say time served, 15 years probation. Oh my God. Y'all, when are we gonna talk about this? All right, we're gonna do what is the maximum amount. We're gonna play what is the maximum amount of time. Are y'all ready for this? Cell 24 is already open. You're probably right, Valencia. Let's play a new segment on the Music Morning Show. This segment of the show is called What's the Maximum Amount of Time? All right, we're going to find out what the maximum amount of time he could serve for each one of these charges. Served in Georgia for, first up, possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual. Y'all ready for this? This is going to be fun. Roll one up, said probation is a big part of the state's income. All right, here we go. The offense of possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual in Georgia is classified as a felony. So you get a felony on top of that. Roll one up. It's starting to go down the entire legal system and the state's income. You want to talk about getting the felony, add that in there too, right? A prison term of not less than 1 year and not more than 5 years to be served consecutively to an existing sentence the individual is already serving. This means the maximum sentence for this charge is 5 years. Okay, so we got 5 on it right there. All right, let's get the next one. Possession of a telecommunication device. And y'all know where we run into the problem, right? Because I'm looking at the light ones right now. Same thing, 5 years. Possession of a telecommunication device by an incarcerated individual is classified as a felony. A prison term not less than 1 year and not more than 5 years to be served consecutively to any sentence the individual is already serving. We haven't even gotten to the big charge yet. All right, let's do this last one, this last BS one. Participation in criminal street gang activity in Georgia is a felony. A prison term of not less than 5 years and not more than 20 years. Hold on a second, y'all. $20 years, not more than 20 years. Important notes. The specific sentence depends on the nature of the gang activity and whether it is tied to additional crimes, which in this case, it's not. If the activity involves committing another serious crime, the penalties for that crime may be enhanced under the statute. States for sentences for gang-related offenses can often run consecutively to other charges. Georgia has some of the toughest gang laws in the country, so sentences are strictly enforced. No kidding. But this isn't even the biggest one. What's the biggest charge in this, y'all? You remember what it is? We kind of skipped over it and just said, oh, everybody's charged with this, right? What is it? Count 1. What is count 1? Conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organizations Act. This is where it gets crazy. Under OCGA 1614-4C, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corruptions Act is a felony in Georgia. Penalties include imprisonment for terms 5 to 20 years and or a fine of up to $25,000 or 3 times the amount of money gained from the criminal activity, which is greater. Additional points. Restitution may also be required to compensate victims for their losses. A conviction under this statute can result in significant long-term consequences, including forfeiture of property or assets tied to this criminal enterprise. Sentences for RICO conspiracy are often severe, reflecting the organized and premeditated nature of the crime. Now, because this is RICO, we know a couple of things. One, Judge Whitaker has been pretty lenient when it comes to these plea deals, right? The state, surprisingly, has dropped a lot of these charges. One thing they have not let go are these RICO charges. And everybody and their mama has gotten this RICO charge, it seems like. So in the spirit of our new segment, which is maximum time served, we've got 5 years, that's 10, 20 years, and then another 20 years. So we're talking about 50 years, right? 50 years total. Now, due to the nature of these crimes and nothing actually happened after that, and the fact that Tinquarius, what was he really doing when it came to this RICO? Nothing. Judge Whitaker, I'm sure, will be super lenient. But this RICO and this criminal street gang activity charge are total BS. And I think that's the thing that where most of y'all in the comments are right. He's probably going to end up getting 10, 15 years probation. Y'all see this? And y'all want to say YouTubers are up here promoting promoting gang culture. Gang culture is trash. I don't even want to sit on the bus with somebody who's in a gang. I'll walk on the bus, be like, hey, is anybody in here? Anybody in here a gang member? Let me know, because I'm gonna catch the next one. I'm gonna start walking. If somebody in a gang asks me for a piece of gum, get away from me. I want to stay far away from these people because dang, man, these laws will have you shaking. Rowan said, what kind of question? I'm going to ask him, shoot, I don't want to get caught in a RICO. Whoever named him Tinquarius need to do time with them. Dang. Oh, man, Sharice says they're butthurt because of Young Thug. If you notice, that's when they started dropping the charges. Also, with the last, they found not guilty. Yep. Sharice said, I'm right. Yeah. Don't ask me for a piece of gum. Definitely don't ask me to use my phone or something. Lord have mercy. Can y'all imagine somebody's like, hey, can I use your phone real quick? Oh, yeah, sure. Here you go. RICO. You don't look like you when you get on, you don't look like you will get on the bus. I will walk. I will walk. Trust me. I try and stay 3 miles, within 3 miles everywhere I need to go. I'll ride my bike. I'll walk. I'm not getting on the bus. Freddie Harris said, yeah, because they're going to tell on you. That's what I'm afraid of. Great point, Freddie. Great point. They're going to be in there talking to Detective Super Investigator Viverito. And they'll be like, yeah, there was this dude that let me use his phone. Oh, she's going to say, oh, really? Who was that? Do you remember his name? What day was that? I'd like to talk to him. All right, here we go. Shout out to the super chats in here. Thank you so much. Tracy Fagan with the 5 bomb says that is because the state can only find RICO with a plea. Fanny should be charged with RICO. It's coming. It is coming for sure. And that's a fact. The only way they've been able to get RICO convictions has been because of a plea, because the 2 guys who stuck it out went to the end of this trial. They were found not guilty on RICO. The jury said this RICO is BS. Guilty by association is a tool used in YSL trial. I mean, yeah, that's why the whole RICO trial exists. It's the only reason. Oh, man. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our next topic. We're going to move away a little bit from YSL, and we're going to talk about a trial that is actually coming up on Monday. Now, if y'all haven't heard about this trial, it's very, very interesting. If you haven't heard about this case, it's interesting and somewhat sad. Just the whole situation is a mess. Rapper Julio Foolio was shot and killed on his birthday. So terrible. Now, there's a lot that goes into the story behind why that happened. If y'all missed it and need to be updated on that, make sure you go back and watch the other videos I did on this entire Julio Foolio trial. But basically, he was having a birthday party celebration. Ops were looking for him. Someone found out his location and he was at a hotel. They shot and killed him on his birthday. Super sad. Now, they were then able to find the main suspects who were involved allegedly in the shooting. And one of them is a young lady named Alicia Andrews. And Alicia Andrews was actually pointed out in some of the, not surveillance video, but some of the video that Julio posted. And you can see that she was actually at the party. Now they're saying, and she's actually saying and confessing that she was involved in this whole conspiracy to get Julio Foolio. And we're going to listen to some of the updates and what's going on with that, because her trial is starting on January 6th, which is this Monday.
New details revealed today in a pretrial hearing for the case the state of Florida is building against the people accused of murdering Jacksonville rapper Foolio.
The state will not seek gang enhancements for one of the 5 defendants in the case. Rich Donnelly was on your side tracking developments from the courtroom, joins us now with the details. So Rich, one of the defendants does this directly affect, right?
Yes, of the 5 defendants charged in the murder of Jacksonville rapper Foolio, the state said it is not seeking a gang enhancement against a woman named Alicia Andrews. A gang enhancement allows the state to increase the maximum penalty for someone with gang ties if that person is found guilty of a crime promoting gang activity. The state says Andrews is the girlfriend of another one of the defendants, but does not intend to prove she's a gang member herself. However, the state did lay out its case that she was very much involved in the murder.
Yeah.
The defendant, along with all her co-defendants, were tracking our victim all through the night.
During the final pretrial hearing before the trial of Alicia Andrews in the murder of Jacksonville rapper Foolio, whose given name is Charles Jones, the state said all of the defendants plotted the murder long before they arrived in Tampa the weekend Foolio was murdered.
We have evidence of the defendant's co-defendants very clearly meeting at Sean Gathwright's house on his video camera, where they are loading up big bags that are definitely big enough to hold these assault rifles that were used in this case.
The state said the motive of the defendants was retribution from music videos posted on social media as part of an escalating gang war in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and Julio Foolio in one of his music videos is seen filming the video from a cemetery near someone who died's grave. It's the whole thing is a mess. Again, I reviewed the whole and went through the whole story. If y'all want to watch it, go check out the other videos. It's sad, man.
This is something in Jacksonville that is very well known. These videos, both by our victim as well as by the rival gangs, are posted immediately. It's in the public domain, and it details this long-standing feud.
The judge also said that evidence from a previous murder attempt on Jones's life in 2023 can be used in the trial against Andrews, even though she is not considered to be involved in that shooting.
I do find, generally speaking, that this is evidence that does help create motive and intent and explain the crimes charged.
3 of the defendants in this case, including Andrews, have pleaded not guilty to the first-degree murder charges brought against them. A 4th defendant is preparing an insanity defense, and the 5th suspect has not been found. The judge gave both the state and the defense team for Andrews a deadline of January 3rd to finalize their witness and evidence lists prior to her trial beginning in 2025. Reporting Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, on your side.
Yeah, and I see y'all in the comments. This is definitely a case of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Unfortunately for Foolio, I mean, he got the ultimate stupid prize and lost his life because his whole persona was off of disrespecting people who had passed, disrespecting people who had been involved in certain things and were either hurt, injured, or lost their life. So, I mean, you get involved in that, you get what you get. You can't complain about it. I wanted to go back to and review the video of when everything went down, because looking at this, I mean, these guys had this planned out very well. And you can see, for them to be able to know exactly what was going on, who was where, they had to have some information, some inside information. And obviously Alicia Andrews was the one who provided them with that, as she admitted herself. Interesting fact about her as well, even though her trial is taking place starting on Monday, and we're going to be covering that, this woman is 8 months pregnant, almost dang near 9 months pregnant. Going to be having a baby in jail. Yeah, the story gets even worse. We'll probably talk about that at a later time. And as the trial goes on, you'll be able to see that too. Sad days, man. Sad days.
These individuals took extreme measures to try to cover their actions, but they were no match for our investigators. Isaiah Chance, Elisa Andrews, Sean Gathwright, Davion Murphy, and Rashard Murphy are all accused of playing a role in Jones's death and are all charged with 1 count of murder in the first degree, premeditated, with the discharge of a firearm, and 1 count of conspiracy of murder in the first degree, premeditated, with the discharge of a firearm. Chance, Andrews, and Gathwright were arrested over the weekend in Jacksonville. Davion Murphy and Rashard Murphy are still fugitives of justice, and we are working closely with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Marshals to apprehend them. On June 23rd, Tampa police officers responded to a shooting on McKinley Drive and located 4 victims. One person, later identified as Charles Jones, was pronounced deceased. Jones was in town celebrating his birthday and posted on his social media his locations several times throughout that night. Surveillance video was critical in this investigation, as suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location. This shows the lengths that these individuals were willing to go through and achieve that this murder would occur. At 4:15 in the morning, Jones began to head to a hotel on McKinley. One of the suspect vehicles is seen following the victim. However, instead of following them into a parking lot, they stage across the street. At 4:38, 3 shooters exit a vehicle and walked in the direction of the hotel. They murdered Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident. Let's look at this video. This is at the hotel.
This is wild, man.
And you can see the shooters.
And look at these, look at the quality of this video. It looks like a whole movie. It's insane.
Are getting in position for their planned out murder.
Look at this. This doesn't even look real. First shooter, second shooter.
And they are shooting at Charles now. And you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee.
They didn't miss like Dirk's people.
And again, they're still shooting at him. He's the right front passenger in that vehicle. It's clear from that video what they were set out to do and what they had planned to do.
Not looking great.
The investigation would later reveal that the 3 armed shooters were Sean Gaithright, Rashard Murphy, and Davion Murphy. Detectives used footage from the scene, license plate readers, and phone logs to identify 2 vehicles and link them back to the suspects. Furthermore, it was found that the shooters are members of or affiliated with rival gangs of Jones that go by ATK and 1200. Jones was part of the 6 Block gang. Detectives believe that the ATK and the 1200 worked together to target Jones as part of an ongoing feud in Jacksonville.
A long ongoing feud too.
I want to send a clear message to anyone that the city of Tampa is not where you want to come to settle a dispute. You will be charged, you will be arrested, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent possible. Furthermore, if you're a gang member, there's no alleged immunity through a cone of silence, as our detectives will find evidence needed to make an arrest and hold everyone accountable.
But people will say by me showing this video that I'm promoting gang culture. Not me, but they'll say by us showing this and talking about this, we're promoting it. Man, that is the lamest excuse I've heard for accountability ever. Is this the life y'all want? If so, then there's something else wrong with you. It's crazy.
Just as we did in this case. Then you will be prosecuted by our tenacious state attorney, Susie Lopez.
Shout out to
Today
Susie.
would not be possible without the assistance of our law enforcement partners in Jacksonville, who collaborated with us and shared intelligence that helped us in this case. Their agency also assisted with many search warrants, locating and arresting these dangerous individuals.
All right, so again, this is going to be a crazy trial to follow because we're going to hear from Alicia Andrews herself or her representation what exactly her role was in this and how it all played out. Y'all stay tuned for that. And we're going to be covering the trial live coming up this Monday. Let me know what you think. How's it looking for old Alicia and little baby Alicia? And this, let me put a disclaimer. This is not a promotion of gang culture. Gang culture and culture in general is trash. Jeez. Roll one up said, nah, no one would say that. Stop the cap. They've been saying that, man. Saying, oh, by talking about it, we're promoting gang culture. How could anybody look at this and be like, yeah, that's the life I'm trying to live? Something wrong with it. Man, you are the best source of news. Thank you. Think the so-called major networks will have the info you do, or if they do, they won't put it out. Thank you for that, John. See, that's so nice of you to say. I'm just trying to help put it all together for y'all so we can see exactly how everything played out. You know, so thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Did I miss any super chats? Let me double check and make sure. I actually did miss. Somebody showed some love over on the Cash App the other day. Shout out to, who was it? John Alexander. Thank you, John Alexander, over on the Cash App. Dropped the 10 bomb. I appreciate you. These kids don't know better. That's a fact. And also shout out to Les Cleaver. He has been a member for 3 months. Thank you, Les. He said Fanny's married to RICO. Wow. Dang, Rice Street. Well, you have to put your whole government out there. Shout out to Rice Street. Rice Street in the building. I know that's not you, but I appreciate you anyway. Are they saying we should hide the facts and bury justice? I don't know what they're saying. Like, they want to talk about solutions. Like, we should talk about it and we should shame it, which I am more than happy to do every single day on this channel. But if we don't talk about it, it's going to be the same. That's a great question, Peter. It's going to be the same thing. Because y'all know who these people are in the streets. Chicago, Atlanta, LA. You know exactly who the people are who are doing stuff. And you're just like, yeah, son, don't go down. Don't go to Cleveland Avenue. It's just not good. That's not enough. That's not enough. So I'm going to keep calling the streets lame. I'm going to keep calling this lifestyle stupid and dumb as much as possible, because what alternative do we have? And hopefully be an example of what a better life can look like outside of this. Because I know it's something that's easy to fall into, but at the end of the day, it's still a choice. None of these young people in that case has a valid defense. What could they possibly say? They followed the guy and killed him. It's going to be tough. But a part of the culture too is that they want this to be known. They want people to know they did it. And that's just a crazy thing. Did y'all see, speaking of something that looks like a movie, I played this earlier. Look at when they arrested them. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's the truth, and the truth hurts for many.
Driver!
It's a fact.
Open the car door! Let me see your hands!
Dang, why are you yelling?
Step on out! Step on out! Look away! Back up to the sound of my voice! Yep. Stop right there. Lift your shirt up.
I don't know how you defend it.
Turn. Do a 360. What? Just listen to us. We'll talk about it. Keep going. Keep going. Turn. Turn. Now walk back to the sound of my voice. Come on. Keep coming. 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 Walk back to me. Can't find your back.
Look at this video from when they arrested these guys. And check this out. This is when they pulled up to their house too. This video is insane.
Put your hands in the air. Hands up.
Hands in the air. Hands in the air.
All right. Slowly walk toward me. Let's go. Right here. Right here. Walk right here. Let's go. Yeah.
Walk this way, Mr. Santos.
Raining and everything.
Hey, get your hands up and walk out towards me. Hey, over here. Come this way. Over here. You're going to get hit with the less lethal. Get your hands up and walk toward me. Hands up and walk toward me. Hands up and walk toward me.
People are so dumb. Like, if a police officer tells you to do something, just do it. Do what they say and sue later. You always have time to sue. But if you... I'm not doing this today. Anyway, shout out to y'all. Garbage, man. I'm going to keep showing this garbage. Because I know we've got a lot of people watching. This ain't it. Y'all want to do this? Is what y'all want to do? You want to be in Rice Street? We talked about Rice Street. This is what y'all want. Look at Alicia. Trash. Tracy Fagan in here with the 5-bomb says W3 should have known when the young people started eating Tide Pods. we should have known when the young people started eating Tide Pods. Yeah, and taking the tops off of ice cream and licking it for TikTok. Did y'all see that one guy that got arrested for spraying insecticide or whatever that was on fruits in the grocery store? Crazy. It's crazy. We're going to keep talking about it though. All right, let's get into, we got to talk about Fani Willis. I mentioned to y'all yesterday, we got the full lawsuit that was filed against her. And I want to go through this real quick. It's just a few pages, but I think this whole thing and this whole situation that went down is very interesting. But actually, let me take like a super brief intermission and then we'll get into it. Just Lee says you should call it out. The behavior is horrific and any one of us or our family could be a victim of one of these heinous acts. You never know. Also, it usually doesn't hit young people the first year or two. After about the 5th or 6th year, the reality that they're not going home sits in. Can you imagine? These young men ruin their whole life for a minute of gangster glory. I don't know what. And again, I mean, it's up to us to, we got to promote people who are saying what the right thing is instead of the other side. Y'all give me 1 second.
I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is, but it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting, and I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take
right, shout out to Keely, man. If y'all want a link to that song, make sure you check out the description, or you can go check out Keely over on Spotify. Who's telling me to leave? Y'all tell me to leave Fanny alone. Who said that? Let me make sure I didn't miss any of the super chats either. Was it Minnie Perkins? Minnie Perkins said, now Classy Beats, leave that devil where she at. Because when they knock on her office door, we will all be looking and waiting. There goes our relaxing music. Yeah. Shout out to Keely for that. I am not afraid of Fanny Willis. I think Peter Feelgood produced that. Again, just you can check the link in the credits in the description. Let me see. I believe. Yep. Peter Eddins. Peter Edens, aka Peter Feelgood. All right. Shout out to Peter. And if y'all are enjoying that, if y'all enjoy the music, make sure you tune into the Song of the Night live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be live right here on the ClassE Beats YouTube channel. So many of the amazing artists who are here in the community will be reviewing their music tonight on the show. And it's the start of a new season tonight. Season 11 starts tonight. So if y'all want an opportunity to hear some great music and you get a chance to win just for showing up to the show, make sure we tune in tonight. All right. It's time for the Fanny Willis Smoke Show. We're back at it. We're going to talk about what's going on with this lawsuit from Misha Maynor. Now, we reviewed what happened overall in this story. Basically, Misha Maynor was having issues with somebody that she worked with and had somewhat of a relationship with. And then Fanny Willis was getting involved because she was maybe speeding up certain things in the legal process, slowing down certain things. And she was trying to influence this lawsuit. Or not this specific lawsuit, but influence what was going on with the TRO that Misha Maynor had against this gentleman. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into it and see the full complaint from Misha Maynor and what she's looking for and what actually went down. All right, y'all check this out. If you haven't liked the video yet, please make sure y'all like the video. It's free. We've got Misha Maynor versus Fulton County Ethics Board, Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and Marvin Arrington individually and in his capacity at Fulton County as Fulton County Commissioner for District 5, Fanny Willis individually and in her office capacity as the Fulton County District Attorney. All right, so Fanny's getting in trouble in this one too. Complaint comes now. Misha Maynor, plaintiff by and through counsel of records to redress deprivations by defendant acting under color of state law of certain rights secured to plaintiff as alleged herein under the United States Constitution and 42 USC 1983, and asserts the following: jurisdiction and venue. Of course, the court has personal jurisdiction over the defendants and venue. The plaintiff, Misha Maynor, resides in the state of Georgia and is subject to the jurisdiction of this court. Okay, we know about the parties. There we go. We've got Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington. We're going to find out what he did. Defendant District Attorney Fanny Willis. I did my best, y'all. I tried to get Fanny out of there. We just need some more time. All right. And then on November 3rd, 2021, plaintiff gave notice to Fulton County and the Ethics Board and Commissioner on January 22, 2022. Plaintiff gave notices to Fanny Willis and the DA's office. All right. So they know what's going on. Statement of facts, underlying criminal case in which plaintiff Maynor is the victim. Plaintiff Maynor is a state representative for the Georgia House of Representatives. Man. In 2019, plaintiff Maynor ran a campaign for the elected seat she now holds. Congratulations to her. In 2019, January, plaintiff Maynor hired Mr. Corwin Monson as a campaign volunteer. So here's where the relationship started, right? Prior to working on plaintiff Maynor's campaign together, plaintiff Maynor and Monson were associates for several years and had many friends in common. Monson assured plaintiff Maynor that he could help her get elected to her desired position. However, in February of 2019, plaintiff Mender was forced to terminate Mr. Monson from his volunteer position after witnessing his unruly, belligerent behavior. Dang, Mr. Monson began to stalk plaintiff Mender after she fired him. Specifically, Monson would show up uninvited at campaign events. He joined plaintiff's church. Oh, this is weird. And he would even sit outside of her home. Oh, man. Here we go. Monson also called plaintiff Mender from several different numbers and left her several voicemails. Monson later turned these voicemails into a song. All right, I'm going to keep it together, y'all. Monson admitted that he was in love with plaintiff Mender, and he even showed up at her home once and proposed to her in front of her minor children. Although plaintiff Mender and Monson had known each other for several years, they had never had a romantic relationship. All right, now I'm not going to get into that, but we don't know that for sure. In June of 2019, Mr. Monson was cited for criminal trespass after coming to plaintiff Mender's home and refusing to leave the property. This dude's crazy. In August of 2019, plaintiff Mender filed a TPO against Mr. Monson. A judge granted the plaintiff's TPO against Mr. Monson in September of 2019. In September of 2020, Mr. Monson was arrested for violating his TPO. This dude. In September 2020, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office is going to be referred to as the DA's office or District Attorney's Office, indicted Mr. Monson for aggravated stalking for violating the plaintiff's TPO. In January 2021, the DA's office indicted Mr. Monson indicted Mr. Monson for a second aggravated assault charge, of which the plaintiff Mender was the victim. For the two cases, Monson was facing up to 20 years in prison. Thank God nothing else happened, because this guy is clearly crazy. And a lot of times, so many of these type of cases aren't taken seriously. They go unreported. And then y'all have seen, I know some of y'all watch the shows out there. It ends bad. So thank God they got this guy, because he was clearly crazy. On information and belief, Mr. Monson is a close friend and associate of defendant Commissioner Arrington. In October 2020, Mr. Monson hired defendant Commissioner Arrington as his defense attorney in September of 2020 aggravated stalking case. Defendant Commissioner Arrington's influence. Here we go. Walking us down. An assistant district attorney on Mr. Monson's case informed plaintiff Mender of the influence defendant Commissioner Arrington wielded in the district attorney's office. Commissioner Arrington used his influence to circumvent the office policies of the district attorney's office, including intimidating the ADAs by copying the district attorney on emails, negotiating plea deals directly with the district attorney instead of the ADAs, and demanding meetings with the district attorney when the ADAs refused to bend to his will. Ain't great. Fulton County residents hire Commissioner Arrington as a defense attorney because of the power he's able to yield in the district attorney's office. As a Fulton County commissioner, defendant Commissioner Arrington is responsible for managing, settling, and releasing the budget for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. For example, on July 14, 2021, DA Willis went before the Board of Commissioners, including Arrington, to request money from Fulton County to hire more staff. During that meeting, Arrington passionately advocated for the money to be released to the DA's office. Favors, man, they're doing favors back and forth. We know how this goes. At one point during the meeting, Arrington states, F the lowest mileage rate. I don't give a darn about the lowest mileage rate. Where's the money that the DA's office needs? Boy, he was fighting for him. As a Fulton County commissioner, defendant Commissioner Arrington is also responsible for managing, settling, and releasing the budget for Fulton County judges. Although defendant Commissioner Arrington has these duties, he also serves as a defense attorney for criminal defendants within Fulton County. When defendant Commissioner Arrington serves as a defense attorney in Fulton County, he is paid by criminal defendants for their defense. From November 2022 to October 2021, defendant Commissioner Arrington unduly influenced the criminal proceedings of both the aggravated stalking cases on behalf of Mr. Munson in the following ways. First, Arrington used his influence to broker a plea deal with then Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard. The plea deal Arrington negotiated with Mr. Howard was not represented to the commissioner's opposing counsel, the assistant district attorney on this case. Wow. In pertinent part, the alleged plea deal would have allowed Mr. Munson to plead guilty to a misdemeanor, although he was charged with a violent felony. The reference plea deal contravened district attorney's office policies. Specifically, the district attorney's office policy was to only offer misdemeanor pleas in place of felonies only in extraordinary circumstances. This is not an extraordinary circumstance. This guy needs to keep his hands to himself. Needs to stay away from her. It's not that complicated. Felony. That's wild, man. Additionally, district attorney's office policy was to punish repeat violent criminal offenders to the full extent of the law, which he was. Furthermore, one of the district attorney's office policy goals was to lower occurrence of domestic violence against women in Fulton County, Georgia. Fanny does not care about that. She cares about the numbers. Domestic violence against women includes the offense of aggravated stalking. Mr. Munson has a prior criminal history, including a prior aggravated assault charge. This guy. What does he know about Arrington? Why would Arrington do this and pull these strings for this guy? Man, do we want to go down that rabbit hole? I'll let y'all think about that one. Mr. Munson has a prior criminal history, including aggravated assault charge, which was subsequently reduced to a misdemeanor in a negotiated plea. Sounds like a man who has some power and thinks he can do whatever he wants to. Secondly, defendant Commissioner Arrington is heard on jail calls with Mr. Munson conspiring to cause the sitting judge on a criminal case, Judge Kelly Lee Ellerby, to be removed. Arrington encouraged Mr. Munson to file a fraudulent claim against Kelly Ellerby. Oh my God. According to defendant Commissioner Arrington, Judge Ellerby needed to be removed from Munson's case because it was likely she would reject the misdemeanor plea he had negotiated with Paul Howard. Makes sense. Arrington states, the problem is the effing judge, in reference to Ellerby. Judge Ellerby was the only problem because Arrington admits he can get the DA to agree to a misdemeanor plea. That's crazy that this was allowed in. Wouldn't that be attorney-client privilege? How did they get this? How did they get this? I need one of our resident attorneys or any attorney watching this video on the replay to help me out with this. How in the world were they able to hear this phone call? After filing a fraudulent complaint against Judge Ellerby, Mr. Munson temporarily had criminal proceedings held before different judges, including Judge Adams. On information and belief, defendant Arrington had a personal relationship with Judge Adams. This is where it gets bad. On information and belief, Arrington used his influence to have ex parte meetings with Judge Adams. Oh my God. Prior assistant district attorney on Munson's case informed plaintiff Mender that Judge Adams' engagement with Munson and Arrington during a hearing was unlike her typical demeanor, as she was differential to them and allowed outbursts from them both. Yikes. Third, jail calls between Arrington and Munson. Commissioner Arrington agrees to use his influence to get Munson a favorable outcome. Arrington states that he will use his father, Marvin Arrington Sr., a former Fulton County Superior Court judge.
These niggas lacking.
Fulton County, come on, man. It can't just be Fulton County. This cannot just be in Fulton County. Oh, are you serious, man? His father was going to use his influence to sway the proceedings. Arrington also insinuates that his position as commissioner will result in a favorable result for Mr. Munson. Fourth, during the jail calls, defendant Commissioner Arrington admits to telling Fanny Willis, who was the district attorney-elect at the time, about the case with Mr. Munson in advance of her being sworn in. Yikes. Arrington states that he wants Miss Willis to know that that bitch is crazy, which is a reference to the plaintiff Mender. Therefore, Commissioner Arrington used his influence to bias Miss Willis against plaintiff Mender. Fifth, during these same jail calls, Arrington encouraged Monson's wife, Mrs. Alicia Monson. Wait, he was married? During these calls, Arrington encouraged Monson's wife, Alicia Monson, to harass plaintiff Mender. Plaintiff Mender later sought a protective order against Mrs. Monson. After the referenced jail calls were publicly released in December 2020, defendant Arrington resigned and as Mr. Monson's attorney. How in the world how were they able to get these attorney-client privileges conversations public? I have to know. One of our attorneys, I need y'all to help me out. This is insane. In January of 2021, District Attorney Fanny Willis was sworn in as Fulton County District Attorney. As the top prosecuting official in Fulton County, DA Willis became responsible for the adjudication of Monson's criminal charges. DA Willis drops the ball on negotiated plea for Monson. Here we go. Although defendant Arrington stepped down as Mr. Monson's criminal attorney, he continued to wield influence over the criminal case. Namely, he maintained that Paul Howard offered Monson a plea deal consisting of the alleged felony being reduced to a misdemeanor. Mr. Monson, succeeding counsel, repeatedly referenced this plea deal in subsequent court proceedings against the state. Mr. Monson's subsequent counsel argued that the district attorney's office should stand behind this alleged plea deal even after Fanny Willis assumed her position as the Fulton County District Attorney. Although Monson ultimately was not offered the misdemeanor plea, DA Fanny Willis did dismiss one of his aggravated stalking cases. Oh no. On the remaining aggravated stalking case, Fanny Willis offered Monson a plea of 3 years to serve 1 in prison, the balance on probation with the credit for time he had already served. Plaintiff Mender was not informed of a plea deal extended to Mr. Monson prior to him accepting, which is a violation of the Georgia Crime Victims Bill of Rights Act, which provides individuals who are victims of certain crimes specific rights. Additionally, Plaintiff Mender did not approve of the negotiated plea deal extended to Mr. Monson. That's a problem. Marcy's law applies to victims of aggregated stalking. On September 2021, Mr. Monson pled no contest to an aggravated stalking. He received credit for a time he had already served. Mr. Monson's plea deal was not appropriate according to Mrs. Willis' inter-office policies or her stated priority of protecting women. Well, she doesn't. Yeah, she got in office. She don't care. Miss Willis, by her own words, created the first domestic violence unit in Fulton County. Additionally, the negotiated plea Miss Willis offered Mr. Monson did not align with the office's sentencing guidelines. On information and belief, it is not the district attorney's office policy to offer a 1-year jail sentence to a criminal defendant being charged with a violent crime when the defendant has a prior violent history. Moreover, Mr. Monson's shortened probation sentence was not consistent with the office's policy of recommendations. A longer probation sentence to men convicted of domestic violence in an effort to protect women longer. If someone's showing these type of That's crazy that he already had aggravated assault. Not a great look, but from a legal standpoint, y'all would have to let me know about that one. DA Willis and the DA's office failed to properly investigate the aggravated stalking charges against Mr. Munson. Specifically, they failed to interview a single person who had witnessed Munson's behavior toward plaintiff Mender. Representatives from the DA's office made fraudulent representations in court in favor of Munson. Plaintiff Mender's desperate treatment as a victim. Due to defendant Arrington's interference in the underlying criminal case, plaintiff Mender has experienced desperate treatment under the law as a victim. Furthermore, due to DA Willis's bias towards Arrington, plaintiff Mender has experienced disparate treatment under the law as a victim. Plaintiff Mender has been forced to advocate for herself and her safety, although that is the district attorney's role. Specifically, Plaintiff Mender took the following actions. What did she do? In August of 2020, Plaintiff Mender was forced to notify the U.S. Department of Justice's Office on Violence Against Women due to the district attorney's office failure to properly prosecute Munson's case at its inception. In October of 2020, Mender called Munson's bail company to inform them that he had violated his bond conditions by being rearrested. Judge Ellerby later revoked defendant's bond. October 21st, 2020, Plaintiff Mender filed a bar complaint with the State Bar of Georgia alleging Commissioner Arrington used his elected position to sway deals as a criminal defense attorney. I mean, it's looking that way. I don't know how you prove it, though. October 24, 2020, Plaintiff Mender filed an ethics complaint against Arrington, alleging that he had violated several ethics rules during the adjudication of the state's case against Munson. Plaintiff Mender had to attend more than 10 hearings from October 2020 through September 24, 2021 regarding the adjudication of a criminal case against Mr. Munson, in part due to the defendant, Commissioner Arrington's several attempts to circumvent and influence the criminal justice process. All right, so going through here, it seems like Fani Willis maybe looked past this a little bit, but I'm not going to lie. It's kind of seeming like, yeah, and she's saying here, defendant DA Willis was deliberately indifferent to plaintiff Mender's needs and violated her constitutional rights. It kind of seems like she wanted to move this one through. I don't necessarily, I don't know if Fanny's really did that much in this case, but y'all let me know what you think. I'll read a little bit more of this. Monson's released from jail. In November 2021, Monson was released from jail. Monson immediately began stalking plaintiff Mender again. As a condition of his probation, Monson was ordered to have no contact directly or indirectly with his named victim, Misha Mender. After being released from prison, Monson began showing up to events hosted by plaintiff Mender's friends and neighbors. On November 18, 2021, plaintiff Mender ran into Monson as she was exiting a gas station near her home. The gas station is a few hundred feet from Miss Mender's home. On November 18th, that same day, Mender informed the district attorney's office of this incident. Neither ADA Mack nor DA Willis took action against Mr. Munson. On December 10th that same year, Munson attempted to enter the Coverdale Legislative Office building, the legislative building where plaintiff Mender works. Capitol Police stopped Monson from entering the building due to him being on the do not enter list. Monson informed the Capitol Police that the state campaign ethics office had instructed him to come in person to the building to testify. Mr. John Accuser, the chief counsel on the state campaign ethics office, stated that Mr. Munson was not contacted or instructed to testify. Yikes. So he lied to try and get into the building. This guy is crazy. On December 13, 2021, investigator Brian Hill of the Atlanta Police Department began an investigation into whether Munson violated the temporary restraining order plaintiff Mender has against him by entering the building where she works. As a part of his investigation, investigator Mender watched the body camera footage from the Capitol Police and interviewed the witnesses. He concluded that Munson had in fact violated the TRO by entering the Coverdale Legislative Office, and he prepared to pursue charges against Munson due to that incident. However, the DA's office refused to prosecute Munson's violation, making a warrant futile. Oh no. Why are they protecting this guy? ADA Yolanda Mack states that it doesn't appear that Mr. Munson's intention were to violate the order, but simply give testimony to the ethics complaint against you. He didn't have any contact with you directly or indirectly, but he lied to enter the building where he wasn't supposed to go. Again, ADA Mack and DA Willis refused to take action against Mr. Munson. Yeah, a lot of this, I'm going to be honest, it seems like Fanny's getting blamed for something that somebody else did. I'm going to be real with y'all. But again, y'all let me know what you think. This is what she's asking for as relief. And what I'll do, if you want to read through the rest of this full document, I'll leave the link to it in the description. What do y'all think, man? Did Fanny mess up in this one? Is Miss Mender right? I mean, I don't know why or how Munson is in this position that he's in, but this is absolutely insane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's kind of crazy. What are y'all saying in the chat? I know I missed a couple of comments too. Right Street, I was like 3 minutes late, man. Give me a break. I'm trying to do better. Rolling Up said Fanny protected the stalker. It's looking like it. She did everything in her power to give him multiple sweet deals. Yeah, with upholding that ruling from the previous judge, that does seem kind of weird. It seems weird that they're protecting this guy too. Seems very conflated. Didn't the judge say Fanny couldn't be prosecuted? Mr. Spiffy's in here. Good morning to you. What else are y'all saying? I always wanted to go to Atlanta to visit, but I'm good. I'll just stay where I'm at. It's a chance I might not come home if I go and visit. It's like that. Dang. No, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you'll be good here in Atlanta. I'm just saying you want to stay on this side. Don't do anything crazy. Don't go out. Don't go to Cleveland Avenue. You'll be fine. You can have a good time. Yeah, but it's piling on a little bit. I agree with you, John. This one seems like it might not be all Fanny. I don't know. Check out how much money was released to Fanny's office after that. This guy's attorney wears two hats per se. Oh, that's a good question. How much money did she get for more staffing? I would be interested to know. Fanny is absolutely protecting this maniac. It's sad how corrupt the judicial system is. I knew there was corruption, but this is crazy. Hey, y'all start looking in your own counties, look in your own city, look in your own state. Go and spend an hour or two in a courtroom and listen to some of these cases that are going on, or even do research in the public records. I mean, you can see a lot of these indictments and a lot of these lawsuits. It's wild out here. We have the civil rights trial in Birmingham. Y'all need to create the gangsters trial. Yeah. And she said the woman wasn't telling the truth. That is true. Not believing victims, just like the girl in the YSL case who was hit on by the investigator. They overly freaky over there. Yeah, you're right, Ro. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Wash my back, I wash yours. Oh, they were definitely doing favors. I just want to know why they're protecting this Munson dude. He must know something about somebody. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that yet, but we'll see moving forward. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everybody who liked the video. Over 1,200 of you liked the video. We're over 100% with our likes. Thank you to everyone who supported with super chats as well and over on the Cash App. I appreciate y'all. Absolutely amazing community. Great start to the year as well. And you know we're going to be back on Monday We're going to see what happens with this Foolio trial, and we'll be reporting on any news that's going on there as well. If y'all want to tune into the Song of the Night live tonight, we're kicking off season 11. It's going to be a great time. We're giving away some great prizes and listening to some great music from members of the community. I appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend and great afternoon. And as always, keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.